Hmm. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Friday afternoon with Quik Tech Solutions impromptu live stream. Sorry we got started a few minutes late, but I want to thank you for taking the time out and being here. We have a beautiful day today in sunny southeast North Carolina. It's roughly between 65 and 68 degrees, and as you can see, I have my Harley Davidson shirt on, and I probably should be out there taking advantage of this beautiful weather. But I had my second shot this morning, and I just want to hang low for the day and take it easy because they say if you're going to get a reaction, it usually happens after the second shot and within a 24-hour period, usually towards the latter half of that 24-hour period. But in any event, I just don't want to take any chances, especially being out on a motorcycle. So, in fact, my wife had her second shot last week and she did fine up until that 24th hour. And then all of a sudden she texted me and said, "Hey, I am going to be leaving work. I am not feeling so great. I feel like I have the flu." And she slept for the next 12 hours and woke up in the next day and she was fine. But again, I don't want to take any chances. So just keep fingers crossed and see how it goes. So in any event, if you're joining us this afternoon, again, it's another one of my impromptu, non-scheduled live streams. You know I have a tendency to do this, and it's fun for me. So welcome if you're here. Let me know in the chat. Say hi. Let me know what the weather's like by you, what time it is, all those things. Hey, Joe from Controlling Technologies. Let's see. Let's see if we can bring up the comments here. There we go. Joe from Controlling Technologies. Joe, thanks for joining the stream. I thought you'd be sleeping. Joe got his second shot yesterday, right, Joe? Yes, yesterday. I'm losing track of my days. And I know Joe slept in this morning. He said he was feeling a little chills and a little headache, but I'm glad to see you made the stream, Joe. Hey, James from Unbridled Emotions. Yes, you should be out riding. Better be to be safe someday soon. Yeah, buddy, we're going to do that. I promise in the next week or so, we are going to do that. And you know what? I want to take a moment to just introduce James to everybody if you're out there. James is the author of Unbridled Emotions. He writes from the heart. His stories are very philosophical, and they're trying to help people, look for hope and overcome life's challenges. So he has a podcast on Anchor. It's distributed through Anchor, and it's published on Google and Apple and all the major, Spotify, all the major podcast platforms. He's also got a YouTube channel that we just started in the second season. It's unbridledemotions.com. So if you are that person looking for something, looking for answers, just need a little positive uplift every once in a while, check out Unbridled Emotions. James has some great stuff out there. So Ashley and I are on the couch recovering, watching our favorite. Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it. Love you, man. Oh my gosh. And Joe says, "Hey James, nice to meet you." Yeah, James, Joe and Willie, in fact, have been hear me talk a lot about Unbridled Emotions and the project that we've been working on. And someday you and I are going to do a live stream and tell everybody how it got off the ground back in September when we were out having lunch, and then the evolution since then. So yeah, looking forward to doing that. I learned in my last live stream when I did the stream with Joe to eliminate the plastic water bottles. I didn't realize how annoying the plastic water bottles are and the sound that gets picked up through the microphone. So we're trying something different this morning. And let me know if the sound of the ice shaking bothers you. But I tell you, I watched someone's here in my sister's house. I'm not sure who it is. And they probably aren't aware that I'm doing a live show, so I apologize for any noise in the background. Um, but I watched back the last stream that Joe and I did, and I couldn't believe how noisy and annoying that plastic water bottle was to me. So in any event, we're trying this and we'll see what happens. Let's see. Came from Mac Telecom Networks. He said to raid you, LOL. Hey, welcome. Thanks for joining. Yeah, I knew Cody was going live. I knew Cody goes live every Friday at 1 o'clock, and I didn't want to step on his time frame, so I kind of pushed it an hour later. I think the last time when Joe and I went live on a Sunday, we ended up going live simultaneously with Cody, and I just didn't want that to happen again. But today was the only day of the week that I actually had that I can actually get into the studio and take advantage of doing this. So welcome. I'm glad you're here. Speaking of Cody, hey, Mac Telecom Networks, thanks. How'd your stream go? Sorry I missed it. Hello. Let's see. James says, back at you both. Have heard so much about you all. Glad Tony hooked up with you guys. Love your channels also. Jacob Johnson, Mac Telecom Raid, LOL. Hey, thanks, Cody. I appreciate you pushing people this way. Can't hear a thing. You guys can't hear me? Let me know. Oh, I'm glad it went well, Cody. Thanks. Hey, Controlling Tech, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. Is this StreamYard? No, this is the ATEM. Why? Dare I ask? Thanks, Cody. I appreciate that. James says noise in the background. Yeah, there's a lot going on. My brother-in-law is home. His friend is here from New Jersey. So, again, you guys know I'm in a temporary studio, so I do apologize. We're just going to have to deal with what I have to work with. Virgil, welcome. Yep, sound is okay, T. I thank you, and I appreciate you being here. Sound fine here. Thanks, Cody. Gotcha, James. Okay, gotcha. Hey, Diego, welcome to the stream. Thanks for joining us on a Friday afternoon, coming through clear Northeast U.S. Awesome. So, let me take the comments off the screen for a second, and let me switch to my super source. And hey, Joe, let me know what you think of the super source. But in any event, I want to point out this new logo for Quik Tech Solutions, and I want to thank Ashley over at Controlling Tech, Joe's wife, for designing this new look for not only my YouTube channel, but for my business, my company as well. I am slowly incorporating it not only into my online presence, but eventually into all my shirts, my hats, signs for my truck when I'm out working. So yeah, Ashley did a fantastic job. I love this. She was able to maintain my brand colors, my white, purple, and silver, but she just gave it that little uplifting spunk and supercharge that it needed. And yeah, I love it. I love what she did with the wrapping cable and the highlights. So thank you, Ashley. I know I've said it 1,000 times, but I really do like it, so I'm going to keep saying it. Yeah, I really do appreciate what you did for me here. New business cards are coming as well. I just haven't gotten around to getting the order out, Ashley, but I will. I promise you, I will let you know when that's done. But anyway, let me know what you think about the new logo. Put it down in the comments. And yeah, Ashley did an awesome job. Let's see. Let's go back to the comments for a second. Joe says, looks great, audio and video, awesome. It's the ATEM. Of course, Joe. Did you think I would do anything else? Like the stream, y'all. Help out our buddy Tony. Yes, give that, hit that like button, man. It lets YouTube know that you like what we're doing here on the channel, and it gets me out in front of more viewers. Appreciate it. Mac Telecom, that looks great. The church job looks to be coming along. Yeah, we'll talk about that a little later in the stream. It's been a lot of fun, a lot of work. I actually was there yesterday from 9 a.m. I didn't get home until about 9:45 last night. But we're getting it knocked out. There's only two of us, and sometimes three. So yeah, thanks. Hey Ferris, like the new logo. Yeah, man, I'm loving it. Ashley did a fantastic job. Ashley, we're gonna get you some more work. I see. Awesome. Unbridled Emotions. Awesome look. Thank you. Thank you, Ashley. Maybe consider to add RJ45 to the cable to indicate network cable rather than electric cable. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Something to talk about, Ferris. Good suggestion. Ashley and I had a little conversation about that cable, but I think it works. It works really, really well. So, okay, let's go on to the first topic. Let me just bring it up. Hold on one second. Bear with me. Okay, guys, so I want to talk very briefly about the right to know movement. I don't know if you're familiar with, not right to know, I'm sorry, that's when I was back in education in school. The right to repair movement, I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it's been ongoing for a couple of years now. It's a movement not only in the United States, but across the globe as well. And basically what it is a movement to allow us consumers to be able to repair devices that we own and we've paid for, either whether we want to, if we're savvy enough to repair them ourselves, or to take them to like a private shop and have them repaired. We paid for them and we deserve that right to be able to repair them. However, the larger companies are kind of making it impossible in a sense by not providing the resources, the tools, the schematics and paperwork needed to get those to perform those types of repairs. So that's what this movement is all about. It's to try to get that right back to the consumer. You got, let's see. Think about this. Think about you have your cell phone and you have a cracked screen and you want to replace it, right? And you can't get the original manufacturer part. So then you go, okay, well, maybe if I take it to a repair shop, they can replace it for me. But guess what? Lo and behold, the repair shops are up against the same thing that the consumers are battling, and that is the larger manufacturers are withholding or not providing those resources to get that repair done. Hence, what's happening is they're forcing you and strong-arming you into having to pay for their high-priced repair or replacement program, and sometimes even taking that device that could very easily be repaired for a reasonable cost, and you end up just discarding it and buying a new one, right? So they got that monopoly on the consumers, and that's what this right to repair movement is all about. So not to get into it too deeply, but I just want to do my part in spreading the word. Now, if you want to learn more about right to repair, there's a gentleman by the name of Louis Rossman. He's got a fantastic YouTube channel. I've been following him for years. He did a video back on March 4th in 2020, and it's called What is Right to Repair? An Introduction for Curious People. So I have a link to that in the video description, in the live stream description. You can find that below. And, if you're interested in supporting, or if you don't even know what it is or you want to learn more about it, check out Lewis's channel, because he's been advocating for this for years now. He's been to Washington several times. And yeah, in fact, I was reading an article, this article here, half of the United States looking to give Americans the right to repair. As of March 10th, 2021, 25 states have introduced or carried over right to repair legislation so far this year. It says here, with the introduction of AB 221 in Nevada on Tuesday, 25 states across the country have considered active right to repair legislation so far in 2021, demonstrating the widespread appeal of the policy. These bills would reform existing laws to require manufacturers of electronic equipment to provide access to necessary items such as manuals, spare parts, diagnostics, and special tools so that people can repair their devices. In some states, the legislation targets farm or medical equipment, while in other states, the bills apply broadly. And then you can see down here is just a map of the United States, and you can see what states have come on board already by the color code. So anyway, that's all I want to say about it. What can you do if you want to support it? There's a GoFundMe page that Lewis started to help move the progress the movement forward, and I believe to date he's raised over $500,000. So that's an incredible feat. So if you and you don't have to donate to support it, you could just be aware, spread the word, be an aware consumer, and help get the word out there. So anyway, that's what I want to talk about as far as right to repair. Let's go back to the comments for a second, see what's going on there. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Supersource looks great. Okay, I'm just trying to find my spot. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Or maybe add the RJ45 cable colors to the inner cables. Good suggestion. Thank you. Timothy Mason, welcome to the stream. Linus Tech Tips did one also that is great, worked with Lewis. Yes, absolutely. In fact, Lewis was the one who pointed me towards Linus's stream. I did watch that as well. Yeah, I think he covered it in like 14 minutes, and he did a really good job. Very, very, very well done. Yep. I'll put the link to that down in the description as well, down to Linus's video as well. Let's see. What really bothered me is seeing that if you replace the camera on the iPhone 12, it causes all kinds of errors on the phone, likely intentional. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me, Joe, no doubt. That's that whole monopolization and control, and that's why this movement, this right to repair movement, is so important, that it gets becomes widely accepted across not only the states but across the globe as well. So awesome. Okay, let me see. Let me see if I could drop these links into the chat for you guys. So here's the YouTube video from Louis Rossman. Here's the link to the GoFundMe page if you're interested. Like I said, you don't have to, but you could just help spread the word. I just thought it was important to get it out there and help get it out there. And here's the article if you want to read in length the article that I just had up on the screen. Okay. Awesome. All right. Okay, so what do I have? Well, let me check out my notes. Okay, playing with the ATEM I have as my part of my notes. So I did show you the SuperSource layout. Let me just go back to that quickly, real quick. Get it up there for a second. We'll just bring up that article again. So there we go. Okay, so this is the SuperSource layout. You see my window on the left side of the screen, and you see the larger window, which is my computer desktop, on the right side of the screen. This is some of the cool stuff that you can do with the ATEM. This is just one of a couple of different layouts that you can tweak and customize. And then the background, the little animated background, I got that idea from Joe Trelli over at Controlling Tech. I like what he did with his super source, and that background is coming in on input number 4 on my ATEM, and that's a totally separate computer. That's an older iMac 21-inch that I have off to my left here, your right probably, and it's just looping an animated background. So, and that's what the super source allows you to do. It allows you to combine inputs and play with the layouts and tweak different things. So so that's one of the things I actually had the opportunity this week to sit down and play with the ATEM. It was the first time since 2 or 3 weeks since I've gotten a device that I was able to spend a dedicated chunk of time with it. So yeah, so that's the super source. Now let me go back. And on this screen here, the little tag that I have going up here, right there, where is it? There. That's just a Photoshop transparent ping graphic, and that's just, I'm using an upstream key for that, and it just ties to the transition. So again, just some of the stuff that can be done with the ATEM. And one of the other things I was doing with the ATEM was customizing. Let me just bring it back up. Let me bring up the comments again. And there's Joe's comment again. And you could see I customized the colors to match my brand. So before it was like yellow and brown with a dark gray background. And this is the Aaron Parecki chat overlay, the Chrome extension. And so, yeah, I'm trying to just bring everything together. Now, Ashley has me excited with that new logo. So, yeah, awesome. Let's see. Joe says... Oh, actually, James says, good information as usual, Tony. See you Monday, brother. Yep, I'll be there at 9 a.m., James, and we'll lay down a few more recordings and get a few more of those YouTube videos out there for season 3. Looking forward to it, man. Thanks for joining the stream. Joe says, any new Grand Stream toys yet? Not yet, Joe. I haven't gotten anything new from them. I am waiting on the GWN 7000 router. They said they would send that to me probably 2 months ago, but they did say that they wanted to wait until they're revamping the whole thing, right? They're doing a complete firmware update. It's going to have a complete whole new UI and whatever. And I'm not familiar with the original GWN 7000, so I'm not sure the one I'm going to receive with the new update and the revamped one, how it's going to compare to what it used to be, because I don't know what it used to be. So for me, it's just going to be a first experience when I get it. So that is coming, but it hasn't arrived yet. In fact, I did reach out to them just to kind of get an update on a couple of things, and that was one of them. So anyhow, so that, yeah, I've been playing with the ATEM. So between the super source and trying to figure out the difference between upstream keys and downstream keys and chroma keys and luma keys and all this stuff that has on it, it's been fun. So yeah, and I've been playing with tweaking the colors on the comments. Now, that said, playing with the ATEM, we being Joe and I, we're trying to get Willie up and running with his ATEM so that we can do some three-way testing with the ATEM, and Joe has a couple of streaming bridges. So as you know, I sent Willie my ATEM Mini Pro once I got the Extreme, and we just got to find the time where the three of us can come together and get him up and running. So that'll be coming as well. And again, talking about video production and live streaming, Joe and I are talking about, and I know Joe mentioned it on his live stream, not last night, he didn't do one, but a week ago, that he and I are considering maybe doing a combined live stream once a month and kind of focus more on the video production stuff and playing with the ATEM. And we briefly talked, and this isn't written in stone, but we briefly talked about the next live stream that we do together, possibly just showing the behind the scenes of how we did what we did in the last live stream. So if you joined us in the last live stream, I stream from my studio here, from my ATEM. I sent the RMTP stream over to Joe. He has a streaming bridge which captured it from the internet, and then he brought it in as an input into his ATEM, and then we streamed out to YouTube. So we talked about possibly doing behind the scenes how-to and how that all takes place. So I'm not sure if we're still going to do that or we're going to change the subject or what, but I'm looking forward to that because I learned so much from Joe. He's a whiz, man. So let me know if that's content you think you'd like to see. Let's see. Let's go back to the comments for a second. The graphic top left, is that the downstream key? No, Joe, that's actually the upstream key. I'm using upstream the media player 2 and upstream key 2 for that, so that it switch when I do the transition, it goes with me. Be interested in the ATEM. What version do you have? Oh, and hello, David. Thanks for joining the stream. When you say what version, I'm assuming you mean what model. So I had the ATEM Mini Pro, and I currently have the ATEM Mini Extreme. I did not get the ISO. I just got the Extreme. So Joe has the ATEM Mini Pro, ATEM Mini Extreme ISO. But Joe does a lot more with side work, with live streaming and things like that. So yes, behind the scenes streams sounds great. David says, I was looking at the ATEM to replace PC and the ISO specifically. Well, David, I'm not a pro here on it, but I will tell you that having the hardware encoder built into the ATEM just takes the onus off the computer. The computer doesn't have to work as hard because it's not doing the encoding. The ATEM's doing the encoding. So just for that alone, I think it's worth the price in gold. Oh, you're welcome, David. You're welcome. Okay. That's that. We talked about playing with the ATEM, getting Willie up and online once a month stream. Okay, I'm going to bring something up on the screen now. Let's see. And we'll switch back to the super source once it's up. Okay, let's go jump over to that. And you're probably all wondering why I'm showing you a picture of a piece of property and trees and some bulldozers. Well, that is my new piece of property, and I'm happy to announce that the silk screening went up 3 days ago, and the crews there are starting to clear and prepare the property for the new house build. Those of you who have been following me for the last couple of months as far as live streaming and stuff like that, I've been talking pretty much every live stream about the fact that I was moving, building a house, in transition, in the middle of the move, etc. Temporary studio, you've heard that, right? So this is the beginning of the what's to come. And I am about 8 weeks away from having the opportunity to get into the house once it's framed and has at least a plywood roof on it, and get in there and do my network wiring. So I'm really excited about that. I haven't given that a whole lot of thought up until this point, but now that I'm starting to see things happen, I just took that picture this morning before I got to the studio. Now that I'm seeing the ball get rolling, I'm starting to zero in and focus on what I'm going to actually do with this network. And here is a look at the floor plan. Here's the first floor area here, and this area here is the bonus room. Now I'll zoom in on this in a second, but this is where the studio is going to be. The only change is right now, and again, I'll zoom in a second, but it says it's a 14 by 14 flex room or bonus room over the garage. It's actually going to be 24 by 14 because we bumped out a 2-car garage and made it a 3-car garage. So my studio will actually be 24 by 14, And looking here, let me just zoom in real quick for a second. Looking at this floor plan here, the first floor, I'm I'm not exactly sure. I'm just thinking about going with either a Grand Stream GWN 7630 in the middle here. I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to go Grand Stream or if I'm going to go Unify with the access points. I'm definitely going to keep my Edge Router P and my Unify switch line, but I think I'm going to give those Grand Stream access points a shot here because I do love what I'm seeing from them when I test them. Although I do like the the single pane of glass with Unify, I really do want to see the Grand Stream GWN access points in production in my own home so that I could start recommending them to my clients. So I'm probably just going to put a GWN 7630 somewhere centrally located on the first floor. I'll put a smaller unit up in the bonus room, which will cover, I'm hoping it'll cover, well, it'll definitely cover the garage and this front area here out on the porch. And then I'll probably throw an outdoor access point, like maybe the GWN 7630 LR, because I want to get some coverage in the backyard area and the back deck. I know that the 7630 will probably bleed out there, but I just want to make sure I have a strong signal everywhere. So let me zoom into that bonus room for a second. They call it a flex room. I call it a bonus room. So what I do know is, as far as the networking is concerned, I haven't really given much thought to the rest of the house beyond the Wi-Fi, but I know that I'm going to put my rack or my cabinet in this walk-in closet here, and I'm going to probably put plenty of drops in this bonus room here on this wall here, plus several different electrical dedicated circuits so that I know I have enough. Now, I'm not exactly sure what the layout of the studio is going to be as far as my desk, the cameras, the lighting, and all that stuff. Once I get in there and I see the walls are framed, then I'll have a better idea of what I'm going to do with the current equipment that I have. So anyway, yeah, that's kind of a look at what's coming up. I'm really excited to get in there and start pulling the wires and starting to design this network. So in any event, that's my build coming up. Let's see, let's go back to the comments for a second, if there are any. All right. Oh, Joe says, oh, are you going to film the whole install? Maybe. You have to make a video on that new home wiring. Looks like I'm going to be making a video on the new home wiring. Okay, yeah, no problem. That's easy enough. Joe says I'm drooling over that bonus room studio. Okay, so the reason we bumped out the garage, Joe, was because in our first house, right, we thought about doing it. We had 2 cars, a motorcycle, 2 motorcycles at the time. My wife rode as well, and then a golf cart. And we thought about bumping out the garage when we built this house 9 years ago, but finances just didn't permit it, so we forego that. And we said this time around we're going to bump it out. Oddly enough, we sold the golf cart. My wife doesn't ride anymore, so we just have the one bike. So we're going to have all this garage space, which is cool, but I end up with a bigger bonus room. However, the downside, right? I mean, you could do a lot. I was thinking of having 2 separate work areas. But I got to really give some thought to sound treatment, because I know even in this little studio here, this is probably, I want to say 10 by 9 or 10 by 10. And I can't believe the echo when I first set up the studio here, the reflection and the echo in this room. I have in front of me, I have sound treatments. I have frames that I built, and I'm just draping moving blankets all around me in the front to absorb some of that sound. So yes, I agree with you. It is exciting um, to have all that space, but I have to really give some serious thought to sound absorption to kill the reflection. So awesome! I can't wait for that home wiring video. Yep, we'll get it done. We'll do it. Awesome, Ferris, and I will get it posted for you. Maybe have two different sets like Parecki. Well, I was thinking more or less two different areas, being one side be the YouTube studio, and then maybe another side be like my actual business work area for Quik Tech Solutions, where I can lay out equipment, switches, access points, and get it all configured and stuff like that. Because right now, that's one of the things with the church project is we got the UDM Pro, the 324 port switches, the 8 access points, and I am at such a loss of space. In fact, I'm taking all the gear with me today when I leave the studio and bringing it home to the condo so I could just lay it out on the countertop and continue with the configuration. So um, I'm thinking in terms of YouTube studio, Quik Tech Solutions, real life work area. So we'll see what happens. I think your key got turned off for seeing comments. Oh, yeah. Did I do that? There we go. I think your key got turned off for seeing. I probably did it, Joe. Let's see. Maybe have two different sets like Parecki, and I think your key got turned off. All right. So that was the new build update. Let me turn the key off now and switch back to me. And I just want to, I guess, let's see, 2:34. We've been going about 35 minutes. Okay. Showed you the house floor plan, talked about it some. So what projects do I have going on? Well, I've been putting up YouTube shorts on this church project that I've been working on. And man, those shorts are so simple, and it's such a nice, easy way to document. What do you guys think about those shorts? I don't know if you've been watching them, but they're real simple to make, and it's a great way to just kind of time the build, like to document and time it, show the progress. So that project is coming along. I worked probably 13 and a half hours yesterday, and I'm working with one other gentleman, the electrician, and his helper. And man, we've had some really tough cinder block walls and ceilings that we'd had to go through. Yesterday, we had to cut up the ceiling in 4 or 5 spots just to get the wires to where we needed them to be for certain classrooms. Part of the proposal for the project was we had asked the parish to, in the back part of the building, where we knew we were going to have problems getting wires to where we needed them to be, we asked them to install just in that one section a drop ceiling. And obviously we didn't get the drop ceiling, so we're doing what we have to do. So we're, neatly cutting 6-inch squares or rectangles, whatever, in various places, getting our wire through, and then, putting it back up, and they'll have to just get a spackler in there to spackle that up and get it painted. But it's coming along. It's a lot of work. There's 3 cabinets. You've got the main cabinet, secondary cabinet, tertiary cabinet. And I think we got all the drops pulled, except for, let's see, there's going to be the access point in the front of the sanctuary above the altar, and that's going to be about 35 feet up. So we haven't pulled that one yet. That's the last one there. And then the pastor wanted the live streaming gear to be set up in the side room where the main cabinet is. So we're going to just pull off the cabinet 8 more drops for the live stream guy. We met with him the other day, and he said he wanted 6, so we're just going to give him 8. So yeah, I think so. We got 9 more runs to pull. I got both cabinets terminated, the secondary and the tertiary. I have not begun to terminate the main cabinet yet because we're still pulling to that cabinet or from that cabinet. And then I still have to get some more configuration done on the gear. I've set it all up. I think I showed a short on that about a week ago or whatever. And, I got the primary networks, the primary LAN set up, and the private, as I say, SSID. But now I got to add a captive portal, and I have to add another VLAN for the security cameras. I met with the security camera guy yesterday as well. So, and then once I get that set up, then I'll work with getting all the firewall rules in place and probably bring all that equipment to the church in the next week or so and get it mounted. And then we're going to have new service running to the opposite end of the building. I think what I'm going to do too, so that we can do an easy transition, is have them install new service and leave the existing service in the one office where it's at in place and run the two circuits in parallel so that we can do the transition to the new network and eliminate, minimize the amount of downtime. And this way, if for whatever reason, if something isn't working or we got to tweak something, they always have the old circuit and the old network that they can fall back on. So that's my plan. That's what I proposed. I emailed everybody last night late when I got home, and I haven't gotten a response today, but it is also their Holy Week and their Easter and Palm Sunday, and their Easter is a week from this Sunday. So they're on a different schedule from, oops, I think I just lost my super source, even though it's not up on the screen. Hold on one second. Apologize. There we go. So yeah, so that's the plan, and we'll see how that goes. So let's go. Let me get back to the comments for a second. Okay. Let's see. Thank you. I'm drooling over the bonus room. Are you going to do any rigging points on the studio ceiling for Mike's lights? I should. My wife already gave me it's your studio, do what you want. So I pretty much have carte blanche with what I can do. It's just, I guess it depends on how much I want to spend. This is an expensive hobby. So let's see. What do they have for an internet connection? So right now they have Spectrum Time Warner, and I think they have 100 megabits per second. And I've already said to them that we need to look at increasing that, especially if they're live streaming. And when they have service, they're going to have, post-pandemic, they're going to have anywhere from 350 to 375 people in the sanctuary, and then an overflow. They have an overflow annex room where the live stream is being pumped into besides going out live for the overflow parishioners. And I think that room holds about 100 people. So I kind of suggested go up. I told them to go to 400, depending on, I think that's the next one that Spectrum offers in this area, but I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. So, all right. So yeah, so that's the update on the church project. I have a couple of residential projects that I'm going to be starting besides my own house, so that should be fun. I do want to show you this. Let's see. Hopefully you guys can see this. Yeah, let me key it in. I just got two of these beasts today. Now, if you could see the size of my hand I have a pretty big hand, and you can see the size of this camera. This is the Reolink L.L.C 511. It's got a 4x optical zoom. This thing is sturdy. This thing is beefy. It's got an SD card slot in the back here. It's ONVIF compatible. It's got night vision. I believe it has a 90-degree field of view. It's IP66, waterproof. So I picked up two of these for a customer who has he installs whole home standby generators for a living. He's got his own company, and outside back of his office, he's got an area where he needs some surveillance. So I picked up 2 of those. These things are huge and they're solid. I believe they're made out of. That sounds like metal to me. That doesn't sound like plastic. And we're going to pop in 2 of those with some outside cabling, and I picked up an NVR for him, and that's so maybe I can get some footage of that too, and at least post shorts or something. But I'm looking forward to that project as well. Okay. And last but not least, I have for my notes here, Grand Stream Learning as I Go. Okay. So tomorrow I have another GrandStream video coming out on adding phones, adding extensions and phones to the UCM 6302, where I talk about adding GrandStream phones using the zero config feature in the UI, how to add a non-GrandStream third-party phone using the phone's web user interface, and then also how to add a mobile device as an extension to the UCM. So that's coming out tomorrow. And I created a playlist. I took Unky Joe up on his idea from a couple of weeks ago where he said, document as you're learning. You're learning as you're going is what you're saying, which is true. So I created a new playlist on YouTube called GrandStream Learn As You Go, and all these videos are going to go in that playlist. The next one I believe I'm going to start working on next week is going to be let's see, tomorrow, after tomorrow's video, right, once the phones are added to the system, right, we'll have established extension to extension internal calling, right? So for me, the logical next step is get the phone system opened up to the outside world and be able to make and receive calls to the outside. So the video that I'll probably start working on next week is setting up inbound, outbound routes and setting up the UCM with a SIP provider and creating a trunk. So that's probably the next video. And then thinking a little bit past that, probably talk about how to build an NVR voice menu system. So I haven't given it too much thought beyond that, but that's kind of where I think I'm going with this. So, yeah. All right. So let's see. I think that's it. The comments look... still have 11 people here. Oh, 9 people. 11 likes. Yeah, everybody, do me a favor. Before you leave, we are winding down. Just hit that like button. And I want to thank you all for coming out and joining and spending, wow, almost an hour with me. About 50 minutes. And Joe and Ashley, man, hope you make it through the next couple of hours. And your shot system, your second shot reaction doesn't progressively get any worse. It only gets better. And I'm hoping for the same for myself. James from Unbridled Emotions, if you're still here, buddy, we are going to get out and ride next week. I promise you that. Willie, I know you're probably not here because you're working, but you'll probably catch it on the replay. We are going to make a time, not only this weekend, to get your ATEM set up, but we are going to have that beer on a Zoom call, and we'll even see if we can get Joe to join us. So, thanks, Tony. This was fun. Yep, thank you, Joe, for joining, and I'm sure we'll be chatting over the weekend. And thank you, everybody, for coming out. And until then, we'll see y'all in the next video.